All right, welcome everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. And we have minutes from April 1st.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
I would second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have 2 road encroachments. One is for GID. They're putting a pipe in for J. Ratliff, and it's First Road Northeast. Right a little bit west of 4th Lane Northeast.
Oh, that's just by his house there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do I have a motion on that?
I would move to approve that one.
And second?
Any further discussion?
Is
All in
this one
favor?
that, is this one that Alan needs to sign off on?
Yeah, he hasn't signed it yet, but he gave it to me, so
Okay.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is for Mervyn Horning. And it is,
Know who that is.
you know who it is?
Mhm.
It's on the Dellwo subdivision, lot 4.
I don't know where that is either.
And Alan has signed it. It is on 10th Lane, it's north of Choteau.
Oh,
10th Lane Northwest. So it must be the subdivision up there by Kessler, south of Kessler's.
oh, okay, yeah.
That's for a future home, and it's for an 18-inch culvert under the road
So he's creating an approach to his home.
on the approach from the 10th lane going into lot number 4. So it's just an 18-inch
It's called
culvert.
the LL?
L subdivision, lot 4.
Okay.
It's for a future home. So it's a 18-inch culvert on an approach.
I'd move to accept the road encroachment.
I would second.
Any further discussion? And Alan did sign this one.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mervyn, M-E-R-V-I-N.
Mervins Horning, Horning.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, that brings us to cemetery bids. So Dick, I'm gonna let you, you're a liaison with the board, so I'm gonna let you explain this one.
Okay. May take a little lengthy explanation, but all the bids for the cemeteries are put out for 3 years. And the one at Bynum, there is no irrigation, and there's been a few things that have not been fixed. So a year ago, they decided to let the bid to have the fence post painted, some of the holes filled in, some of the headstones leveled, and the company that got the bid did an excellent job. But it was agreed upon to rebid for the following 2 years. Bids were sent in, it was advertised, and bids were sent in, and the bids came in higher than expected and higher than what had been budgeted previous to that 1-year contract. I suggested that they rebid, yes,
How many bids did you receive?
received 2.
Okay, thank you.
I suggested that they rebid for the sexton at Bynum. And the next, because the previous contract was for $500 a year, and it's primarily just mowing the cemetery.
Right.
And because there is no other labor force needed, there's no irrigation. The bid that was let the previous year was for $3,500 or $700 a month for 5 months. And like I say, the people that got the contract did a nice job, fixed it up, cleaned it up, but the demands for monies and labor are not there.
Right.
So I suggested that they rebid it. And that was on a Thursday or Wednesday. We're not here on Friday. I got a email that the president of the cemetery district was going to call a meeting for Monday morning, which is fine. I received it Monday morning, went to the meeting, and they called the meeting to order and read some amendment program or paper that they had that's never been.
Wasn't that to change their bylaws?
Yeah, and it was, and that's what it was for, is to change their bylaws, but it had never been approved.
No.
And they just went through and said that they were gonna, and they voted on it and then dismissed the meeting and wanted to give it to the company that had the previous bid, but for the same dollar amount.
Right.
And I have an issue spending taxpayer money, $2,000 or $2,500 more than what really needs to be spent there. And we've made some inquiries, and there are some other options as far as maintaining that.
Well, it probably only needs to be mowed 2 or 3 times a year.
And I wish it had to be mowed every week if we got that
Well,
much moisture.
Yeah, but on a typical year, probably 2 or 3 times.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but that's the
And what was the total of the bid?
the one was for $3,500 or $700 a month,
Right.
and the other one was for $800.
Okay.
And
Both too high.
in my thought process, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's all the information in a nutshell, and it's up to the decision from the commissioners.
So in light of that, do I have a motion?
I would move to not accept either of those bids.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
Any further discussion?
No, thanks for explaining that, Dick.
Yeah, thinking this through, if we don't approve this bid, we're gonna have to probably have a meeting with the cemetery board
Yeah.
at some point with all the commissioners. So I would, if we do that now, depending on how this vote comes out, I would definitely let you know ahead of time. It'll be a public
We
meeting.
need to notice it.
because this is kind of unusual. We have had, in the past, the cemetery board did ask us to take over the financial part of their duties, so we'll have to look into that.
Now, has the person that, did they approve this at their last meeting?
Yes, but no contracts have been sent,
Oh, they have,
because
okay.
the commissioners have to.
So we don't have to rescind any contracts or anything?
No, the way it works is they recommend, and then we
Right.
have to approve because we have the financial authority for it.
Exactly, okay.
And if I can add one more thing, Joe,
Yep.
just to reassure the citizens and the people of the Bynum area, the cemetery will be in shape for Memorial Day.
Okay. Any further discussion?
So just let me recap. The cemetery district advertised for bids for this position,
Yep.
or this work. They received 2 bids, one from Ross Debner,
Yes,
and his was for $800 a month,
correct.
and one from, what's the name?
Justin Wilson,
Justin Wilson for $700 a month. Justin Wilson being the one who had the 1-year contract previously, which was also for $700 a month?
that's correct.
Okay. And,
But the previous contracts on the Bynum Cemetery were for $500 for the year.
right, and apparently they must not have felt they were getting enough money to level headstones, fill holes, or paint fence posts. They were just mowing and not
Yeah,
doing.
maybe there was miscommunication
Yeah.
or something.
Well,
So,
and if I can reiterate, that was, the advertising was for mowing and it just making it clean. It wasn't for all the other repairs.
okay. So now, the cemetery board has had a special meeting after because you rejected these bids once before.
Just during the meeting that we made, I made the suggestion that
I thought this already
I
came
think
up.
that you guys already,
Yeah, I thought you already rejected these bids once before too, and that was why the cemetery district board called for the special meeting, and then they kind of overrode what you did and said, no, we're awarding this bid to Justin Wilson.
And that may be true.
That is
I-
correct, the April 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You're
sure
correct.
that you already,
yeah.
that you already took this motion.
So I think we need to vote on it, and then if we reject it again, we're gonna have to have a meeting with the cemetery board. We need to, so should we vote on it?
But it's
Well, we have
already
a
been
motion.
voted on April 15th.
Yeah, but that was before the
They had
the
their
last
special
meeting.
meeting.
They had a special meeting after that. What date was that meeting? Cemetery meeting?
Just a
Special
sec.
meeting was on a Monday,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago maybe? And they did notice it, they called us and
Mhm.
we,
Because Joe set it up, Joe Coble set it up.
yeah,
The 19th.
So that was after, so they've met and approved the contract after we rejected it.
yes.
Right.
So I think we need to, again, reject their last action, and then we're gonna have to, if we decide to do that, and then we better have a meeting with the board.
Right. Well, we have a motion to,
If we have a motion in a second, so
Reject
do I
that.
have a vote on that?
yeah,
I'll vote yes.
aye.
Okay. So we definitely need to get a hold of the cemetery board, and like I said, Mel, that will be
Okay,
noticed, and
Yeah,
the public will be welcome to attend. Okay, is that all for the cemetery?
believe so.
Okay, we have, the next item is immunization contracts, and there are 2 of them, both for immunization. One is, and they're both for COVID, I believe. It's been a while since I read it. Yep, COVID vaccination planning and oversight for provision of immunization for children, adolescents, and adults. So the one is for $14,863. And the other one is for, I suppose I should do it separately? They're both amendments. Can I
But they're
do
on
it
one,
together?
aren't they on one
No,
contract?
they're separate.
Oh, then you should do two.
Okay, so the first one is an amendment for vaccination and it's for $14,863.
I would move to approve that one.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And the next one is for $5,207.
I would move to approve that.
And so that's the oversight?
Yep. Reduce the burden of vaccine preventable disease within the contractor service area.
I'd second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we had a request from CASA. Front Range CASA, and we have been doing this every year.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the full name of it is again?
Court-appointed special advocates,
Thank you.
and the request is for $10,000, and that's normally, that's what they have been requesting, but
Okay.
we have been giving them $2,500 a year. And there's a,
Now, who administers this?
Kirsta Sullivan, and it's through the district court.
Okay.
They're guardians for
Right.
ad litem for children in the district court, and they're the advocates.
Mhm,
So,
okay.
I mean, it's a good cause.
Yeah, I can remember it from before that had done this.
Is that the letter that states how many cases each
Yep,
county
I've
has
got the
had?
cases in usually Glacier County has a lot higher caseload than, they've got 52 cases. Ponderay County had 32, and Toole and Teton had 15. So that's kind of why we haven't been fulfilling their complete request, because our caseload isn't anywhere near what
Oh,
some of the other counties are.
Well, I would move to continue with the $2,500.
I would second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And then we have another request, and this one is from the Conservation District, and it's for the stream gauge at the South Fork Bridge. And it's for the maintenance and operation of that. And,
Right.
again, we've been giving them $550 for quite a while, and that's what they're asking for.
Oh, okay.
And that's,
So that hasn't changed.
no, it hasn't changed. The geological survey gives some money, the Conservation District puts money into it. And they're just asking for the same that we have been giving.
I would move to continue paying that.
I'd second that.
Any further discussion? Mel, if you need copies of these, they have the breakdown
Yep.
of
that'd be
both
great.
these letters, I'll
Yep.
certainly give them to you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So that brings us to airport fuel truck surplus. And Dick, I'm gonna let you explain that too.
Okay, they have a truck that, and they have another tank, so they don't need the extra fuel truck. So they wanted to put it up for bid or a surplus, so I don't have all the pertinent information.
It's the only fuel truck they have up there though, right?
No, they have two.
So this is the older one?
Yep,
It's in
Okay.
1981.
It's an 81.
I can't remember what brand.
We wanna declare the right one surplus.
Yeah.
So we'll go with the old one.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And then how do they propose to sell it? Are they gonna
well,
just seal bids?
I believe they were gonna check into the same public surplus that the road department had used,
Okay,
but they were going to advertise it locally also.
okay.
You still have to advertise it.
Right.
You have
Right,
to let
oh,
them know
yeah.
where they
2
can
weeks or
purchase or put their bids
Okay.
and stuff.
Advertise the fact that they can go on public surplus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Okay, do I have a motion on that?
I would move to accept the surplus truck from the airport.
I would second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Motion carries. Commission reports.
I don't have anything.
I guess I got one and it's
Oh,
almost over, but all the fires that have, permits that have been issued and following what happened in Ponderay County with the collision, that maybe the permit holders, if they're gonna burn and that smoke's gonna go across the road, that they have flaggers to kind of decrease the possibility of us having something like that happen here.
mhm.
Yeah, I would think we would have to talk to Steve about that and go through the process of changing the permit, but that's something we could look at in the future. Probably a conversation we should have.
Yeah.
Well, with, and with the sheriff's office, because you've gotta determine if, you know, there's gonna be consequences or.
And what would trigger the need for, yeah, it could get
Yeah,
pretty
that's-
complicated.
Yeah.
Any public comment? Next meeting, May 20th. And do you want copies of those letters now?
Yes, please, that would be
Okay.
great.
I'm sure that'll help you explain it. So we're adjourned then.